Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift is probably the most polarizing movie of the Fast and Furious franchise, loved by some and hated by others for some reason. Like, Tony, you cannot hate this movie just because Toretto appears for only 3 seconds at the end of the movie. But for those who like the movie, it was a very special movie, and among those people, I am included. I was very young the first time I saw Tokyo Drift, and I found it so interesting, so euphoric, and so cool. And it was also my first exposure to Tokyo, Japan. I mean, it wasn't the first time I had seen Japan in other movies, but in this movie, Japan was not just a simple scenery with little to no importance. In this movie, Tokyo plays a main role, and it's intertwined with the plot in a way that I have never seen before. It showed me Tokyo as this really cool and new place. It showed me the night scene as something hidden, alive, and nothing like my own city past 10 p.m. It felt so cool, the neon lights and the beautiful scenery. It felt like sugar directly injected into my 12-year-old bloodstream, so different and so cool at the same time. For me, it was a unique experience, and this movie was probably responsible for igniting my fascination with Japan. And for this very reason, Tokyo Drift is really deep in my heart, full of McDonald's oil. I know it has a lot of silly things, like Sean, a supposed 17-year-old student, is played by a 143-year-old guy with hairy nipples. But the movie is really good. So what makes Tokyo Drift so good? Honestly, I really believe this movie is one of the best movies to describe what you feel the first time you visit Tokyo. That feeling of being hit with so many different things at the same time. The feeling of being lost in a culture completely different from your own. How exciting it is to discover all the new things. How dazzling the neon lights are at night. Like, throughout my childhood, most of the movies I'd watch were movies that were set in the United States. And suddenly, watching a movie filmed in Tokyo really blew my mind. I genuinely think they couldn't have chosen a better setting for this movie. And even though I know most of the scenes are just replications of Tokyo in some parking lot in Los Angeles, they still managed to get all the charm of Tokyo. It's really impressive that they managed to do this movie with a much lower budget than the others, because it has a lot of cool scenes, and it really proves that you don't need to keep exaggerating dangerous situations to make something interesting and cool. Like, what the is this? Now, let's talk about cars. I like cars, but I'm not the type of person that says,
"This beast's got 500 horsepower and a Borley exhaust system. It does 0 to 60 in like 4.3 seconds." That's about right. That's about right.
But even so, this movie made me find cars interesting. Even when Twinkie showed his vehicle for the first time, I find it super cool. Now, looking back at it, well, not so much. And I think that is because we are being put through Sean's point of view. Someone that doesn't have a clue of what drifting is. And that was amazing because I didn't have a clue either. Sean serves as the perfect person to introduce us, the viewers, to the world of drifting. And the race with DK is the greatest introduction that they could have done to show us what drifting is all about. To me, 10-year-old Nova, drifting was one of the coolest things in the universe. And the fact that Sean started out sucking so bad made it all so much better, because it is fun to see the progression throughout the film. I always find it kind of boring to see how everyone from Fast and Furious are incredible driving geniuses. Like, where's the fun in that? And Sean, he was bad, like real bad. And throughout the film, we see him getting better, and that's very satisfying. I really love how everyone is so obsessed with drifting in this movie. Like in those episodes of Beyblade or Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they are all the time talking about things like, the spirits of the cards, Yugi! The spirits of the cards. And well, besides introducing us to the drifting world, the movie used Sean to introduce us to Tokyo, especially the night scene. And as a good ADHD person that I am, I love cool things. And what makes all this much more special is the music. I just absolutely love the choice of music for this movie. Easily the best soundtrack I've heard in a Fast and Furious movie. The intro song with the slow motion montage of Sean's life in America is incredibly memorable. Like, I heard this song and I instantly associated with Tokyo Drift. The music they use in this film really accentuate everything they are showing us. Like, when they use Barracuda the moment Sean arrives in Tokyo and he's super lost trying to get to school. Really cool. It's a really fun soundtrack, really energetic and exotic. And in a way, it portrays very well the overwhelming feeling of being hit with a system completely different from the one you are used to. Pretty much all the songs in the soundtrack were really good, and the most recognizable of them all has to be the main song, Tokyo Drift, by the Teriyaki Boys. They used it the first time they show us the world of custom cars in Tokyo. Like, the amount of times I have played this song with my brother while driving just because of how good it is, it's insane. Every song of the soundtrack fits perfectly, I think. Like, the time when Sean competes against DK for the first time, they use an incredibly fast song, very energetic, like almost Slavic techno. And it's awesome because the scene is really messy, fast, and full of adrenaline. And even with all the new style of songs, it doesn't leave completely aside the style of the other movies. I don't know how this work, but they use a song of Don Omar in a scene where the atmosphere is really calm. That scene where Han was talking with Sean in the roof. And I must admit, it really works. Like, it works, it's strangely good with the Japanese scenery. It's weird. Pretty much all the songs that are used to introduce scenes or environments are memorable as shit. Like the one they use when Sean enters the secret club with Han, or when they start showing the vehicles in the club's workshop. Really good shit. The soundtrack for this movie is a really solid soundtrack. Really recognizable and so good, man. Like, definitely one of the main reasons why this movie is so engraved in my memories. Tokyo Drift, apart from being a really fun and exciting movie, it also has these moments that I don't know how to explain them other than with, yeah, man. There's something really inspiring in those cheesy lines when Han is talking with Sean, looking at the Shibuya crossing. Sean is asking Han why did he borrow his car to him even though he knew he was going to wreck it. And Han says, why not? And Sean says,
"There's a lot of money."
And then Han, like the amazing and wise Asian, living in a waterfall than he is, he tells him,
I have money. It's trust and character I need around me. And who you choose to be around you, let you know who you are. And one car in exchange for knowing what a man's made of. That's a price I can live with.
I remember I found Han so cool and I thought, yeah, man. Other of my favorite scenes that portrays this feeling very well, it's the time when they are driving in the mountains and they are talking about how driving makes them feel, how they forget about the past and the future when driving, how nothing but the present exists for them in that moment. Yeah, man. My 10-year-old self really felt the freedom of driving in the mountains at night without caring about anything else. Sometimes I really enjoy these little moments of inspiration, like the ones you get from sports anime. They are really good for my spirit, man. Anyway, I never understood the hate for this movie. I know it has some silly scenes and some questionable moments, like the girl at the beginning offers herself as a prize for the winner of the race, or like the scene where they are trying to pick up some girls by driving in circles around them, to finally proceed to look directly at them, waiting in silence until the girl hands them her number. like what? But the thing is, the movie is super fun to watch, even with the 32-year-old man portraying as a 17-year-old high school boy. Sometimes you just have to appreciate these scenes and accept them from what they are. Besides, I have seen bad movies Tokyo Drift is not a bad movie. Sometimes I feel like it just became like some sort of meme to say it's a cheaty movie. You can tell the people who made this movie had a good time with it. You can tell there was love and fun in the making of it. And if I had to describe this movie in one word, it would be fun. Tokyo Drift is a fun movie. A movie that doesn't pretend to take itself too seriously and perfectly captures the fun that was supposed to be in the Fast and Furious franchise. And it's the perfect example of why you don't need big stunts or stealing billions of dollars to make something entertaining and something that people will remember. Tokyo Drift will be forever a very special movie for me. A movie that introduced me to a culture that I really appreciate and admire. A movie that showed me a really special place that I had the luck to visit. And a really solid movie in many ways. I truly respect the people who also came to appreciate this movie. I respect you. I hope I was able to explain a little bit why I like this movie so much and to make you remember how cool this movie was. Maybe this movie also helped to introduce you to Japan. Who knows? I always remember the hairy of Sean. Remember, you can leave a like if you like the video. It really helps with the algorithm. And subscribe if you're interested in the kind of content I do. Thank you very much for all the support you guys always give me on my videos. I'm slowly trying to improve with each upload. I hope it shows at least a tiny bit. And thank you for watching the video this far. I hope you have a great week. See you in the next video. Bye bye.